everyone, and welcome to this conversation presented by White House Custom Color. I'm Jed Toffer. Thanks for listening. You know, my wife Vicki and I have owned and operated our photography studio, V Gallery, for 20 years now. White House has been our lab for the last 16 of those years, and we could not be happier. White House is a family-run business, just like ours. If you haven't already, check them out at whcc.com. And if you want to drop me a line, feel free to email me at jed@whcc.com. I love the concept of working hard so you can play hard. I grew up that way. It's how my family rolled. I took pride in working hard so that it was possible to play hard. At the time, that's all the reason I needed. Ben Shirk might be one of the hardest working creatives out there, but he has several reasons to do so. He works hard so he can play hard with his wife Sara and their 3 kids. Start off by just telling me who you are and giving a little bio.
I'm Ben Shirk. That should be easy, I guess.
Mm-hmm. You got that part right.
I am a photographer from Iowa and been lucky enough to get some good recognition for my work and photograph a lot of senior athletes, have some fun with that. Have 3 kids and a wife and a pretty fun job.
You and Sara work together.
Yep.
How does that work?
Actually works very well. She's very good at what she does, and I've learned over the years that she's usually right, so just go with whatever she says.
Is it like that?
It's way easier. Yeah.
Happy wife, happy life.
Yep. She's right more often than not, and either way, I don't really care about 30 seconds later. So, and she does. So, the faster you learn that in a relationship, I think the better it is.
What does she do in your business?
She does everything but the photography and sales. Basically, no client interaction, but she does all the IT stuff. She does the website design. She'll have final say on any images that leave the studio.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So you're on the front end, and she's on the back end. Like, you're the face.
Yep. Yeah. She does not like to talk to people, so that's why she's
absent from this.
So when I built the studio, I set up a receptionist desk, a nice receptionist desk down there, assuming that she'd be sitting there.
Yeah.
And within the first 2 days, she moved all her stuff up into where my office is, and she's like, "Nope, I am not sitting down there."
Who sits there now?
Nobody. No one's ever sat there.
It's just an open desk
Yep.
for some receptionist that doesn't exist.
Yep.
So seniors is your bread and butter, right? Like that's what you're known for. When did this begin?
Well, my photography business first started when it was a variety of things, but my wife took my newborn son to be photographed by the mall photographers, picture people, and I'd built my house. I built everything in it, like all the tables and like did everything. I built it from the ground up.
You do that stuff too?
Yes.
Okay.
And so when I came home, I had already considered myself an artist too, and I was like, I wanted to take his first pictures. I was kind of insulted that I wanted to have.
Oh, you were upset.
Yeah, I wanted to be able to take his pictures and put those on the wall and not have someone else's hand in it. And she said that I would never make a good photographer. I wasn't good enough to take the pictures.
Is that right?
Yes.
Now, you said that she's right all the time.
Well, except for that time. That's probably been the biggest time. So I said I was not good at the time.
Right.
She was right at that moment.
Right.
But I said about trying to prove her wrong. So I started trying to take pictures and kind of worked my way into it. Met up with a friend's dad who owned a photography website company.
Yeah.
Went on a canoeing trip with him, and he hooked me up with a photographer site before I even had any business. And so I had a website and started just filling it in with pictures and slowly built up clients, offering all my work for basically nothing. Doing lots of free sessions and had a lot of work, but no money.
Describe the process of getting to the point where you were profitable.
For a lot of years, like I said, I was making zero money. If I had $200 coming in, like from a week of work, the sessions, I was pretty happy. And decided that I was just tired of clients already,
Right.
even a couple years into it, getting burnt out, and something needed to change. So we decided to go to Light Pro down in Florida and learn something. And we had no connections in the industry. We knew nobody. I knew nothing about how to shoot in aperture value or
Really?
like I just no ideas on lighting or anything like that. And so went down and learned a whole lot and basically applied all that information, learned from people like Clark and Rachel Martin and Travis Gugelman and all those people that were very knowledgeable, and just applied it and got to just the biggest change was actually starting to charge for it, because then it made me improve my quality. I didn't wait to improve my quality and then raise my prices. I raised my prices and then had to shoot better.
Is that right? You raised your prices first to get them to a point where you could have a profitable business.
Yep.
And then that motivated you to do better?
And my mindset is, if I'm going to charge this much, I have to produce images that are worth it.
Right.
And so, it was kind of the opposite of what most people think.
Right. It usually goes the other way.
Yeah.
Well, because most people are afraid to raise their prices.
Yep.
Were you?
I was. My wife wasn't. She's like, if you're going to be wasting your time doing all this stuff instead of building on our house more, or doing something, you're going to be actually making money. And so this is what you're going to charge.
Right.
And she's an she graduated top of her class in accounting. So she had a very good business mind. And so she raised it and it worked out, and we raised it more and it worked out. And we went from, came back from Light Pro, and we went from $2 to I think like $8 to $15, and then we went to 32, and then 48, and then $64 a la carte in a year.
All in 1 year?
Yeah. Yep.
What was the beginning number?
$2.
$2?
Yeah.
Is what you charged for
4x6, 5x7s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got to $64 in a year.
Yep.
How did that impact, like, did you lose?
Yeah, we didn't have the customer information in place at that time. We just were raising prices.
Yeah.
And so we had a sheet, but the people who had booked a couple months in advance and stuff, we were raising our prices quite fast, and we had some people not happy, and it was probably our fault, but it got us to where we needed to go, though.
Right. In order to actually continue doing it.
And we had baby club members that we had to refund their stuff, because obviously their prices changed so much that didn't really work out, but it was, again, for the better.
Right, because you got to where you had to be in order to continue to do it. Now, you're known for your composites, right?
Yes.
How did that happen? How did you find that was your niche or your specialty or what you really love to do?
Before I even had a camera, I was working in Photoshop. I discovered it in college and loved it. I loved the manipulation of images. And so once I started taking pictures for clients, I was doing all the post work before they even saw them, just for fun of it. And
so you were doing a bunch of stuff on spec.
I was doing a whole lot of work,
to
all the images before they even looked at them.
Right.
And then loading them online and then hoping they'd buy something, which didn't work out very well. But
take note, everybody.
Yeah,
it doesn't work out very well.
That's not a smart way to run that.
I'm interested in what drew you to that in the beginning. Like I didn't know that you built your house and you even did all of that. Do you look at digital manipulation or digital compositing similar to carpentry, and that you're building something?
Yeah, I love creating. I'm always making something. I think I remodeled 4 houses last year.
What?
Yeah, we bought a bunch of houses and remodeled them and flipped them, and so I gutted them. And
so you do that too? That's
what I grew up doing. I mean, my dad was a shop teacher, so he taught me all the ins and outs of electricity and plumbing and
really
all that stuff. And so, yeah, we don't, small town Iowa, we don't have any code, so I can do all the work. I can do gas lines. I
Really?
dig footings.
I was just going to ask you about all that. What about?
No, I do everything. I ran a backhoe and dug footings and poured my own cement and built my own walls and ran my own
What in the world?
plumbing and electricity.
You're blowing my mind right now. I just always picture you sitting behind a monitor deep into the night with your tablet in your lap and just constantly compositing. Like,
I do that. I do that most of the time, but like there's not a whole lot of time I'm sitting still. So we're always doing something to better our business or our lives or our family or something like that. So it's not growing up. My parents were very strict. Kind of like we were always doing something. It was not like you never just sat there to watch TV. You worked and did stuff, and then we're going somewhere to do something else. And there's a lot of working going on.
Yeah, your work ethic is even stronger than what I anticipated it to be, and it's from your parents.
Yeah, my mother grew up on a dairy farm, one of 11 kids, and they were always up by 4 and had lots of stuff to do, and she continued that no matter what. I mean, she probably mows the lawn 6 times a week and
just always working,
always working.
Getting things done.
Yep, there's always something going on, and so it just kind of kept that mindset in athleticism, and even my business now really helps.
Right, because you're a wrestler too.
Yes.
And what are the things that you learned in wrestling that help you and as a photographer and a business person?
The fact that it just taught me that in wrestling especially, you're out there on the mat by yourself, so everything depends on you, and you're not blaming another teammate for missing a tackle.
You can't do that.
Yeah, it's all you. So just being able to rely on yourself and put the work in, and not wait for someone else to hopefully do it.
What do you do to sharpen those skills? I mean, with wrestling, you can work out, you can wrestle with people and actually get down on the mat and make it happen. What do you do photographically to stay on top of your game, to sharpen your skills, to constantly improve and get better?
I think I look at it as a challenge. I mean, it's basically the same as wrestling, is where it's like you're there to better yourself. And so when I basically always trying to improve, I mean, that's what I'm working on. I look at lots of images. I create mood boards and different things like that, especially for my competition images. I spend a great deal of time just trying to figure out the color tones, and I might have an idea, but it takes a very, very long time to refine that idea to get it to a point where it's going to have some kind of impact. And most people ask, like, how long did that take to do in Photoshop? And that's minimal compared to the kind of envisioning of the final product.
Is that right? Like that piece is the big piece.
Oh yeah. Yes, certainly.
The envisioning process, or
I started for this year's, I started like mid-December.
Yeah.
And I've still probably, 4 or 5 hours a day I spend trying to figure out those, and I haven't even started yet.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's so much more than I thought. I feel like you have more hours in your day than I do.
We've kind of, I guess, narrowed down the scope of we don't accept very many clients anymore, just because we want to very, very, very high end.
Right.
So not having lots of clients come through our door and not accepting lots of people allows us to like concentrate more on the things that we really want to do.
Right. And your prices reflect that.
Yep.
I mean, they're probably substantially high, and you don't need then a lot of clients in order to stay viable.
Correct. Yes. We've realized that what we do is valuable, and we've been lucky to get some great marketing through some TV stations and different stuff that have done round interviews with us.
Right.
And so it's allowed that perception of, like, throughout the United States, our clients come from all over
the
United States.
You get them from everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah, you've had some national coverage.
Yeah, we were on Today's Show
Right.
and CBS and NBC and IPTV, and
That's some decent exposure.
Yeah, we had a pretty good year last year.
So you said you look at a lot of images. You're creating your mood boards. You're looking around and being inspired by lots of different sources. Who rocks your world? Who's great?
I really like old master painters.
Mm.
I love the rich tones and the lighting that they can portray, and just the posing. The posing is amazing. It's not just like someone standing there leaning on someone else. It's just they're just the motion and that conveys in their body language is just so nice. And so
you're intentionally incorporating that into your work.
For my competition stuff, certainly.
Yeah.
For my athletic client stuff, I'm not really referencing old masters as much. But
do you reference anything, or is that
for my client work? It's half inspired by them. I have ideas as far as looking at Nike and
Right.
Under Armour and such, the commercial images, but most of the time that completely changes once I start like interacting with the client,
Once
and
you get
they throw
going,
some
right.
ideas out there and things happen. So it's a nice it's a nice balance.
Now, you guys talking about balance, that's a good segue actually to this. You talked about your work ethic that you got from your parents, and it sounds like you guys keep a lot on your plate on purpose. Like you load yourself down with things to do and ways to stay busy.
Yeah.
You said to improve your life for your family. 3 kids, right?
Yep.
How do you transfer that to them? How do you instill that ethic in your kids?
We do. I feel we do a really good job instilling it through just talking about why we're doing those certain things, like when we're working late at night and like getting our kids to realize we're not just messing around. We're doing this so that we can afford to do the things we want to do.
Right, which is what?
Travel and have fun and go boating on the weekends and stuff like that, where there's a lot of people that just sit at home and just watch TV and go to bed.
You stay active, you get out there and you have fun together. So you make time for leisure activities as well.
Oh yeah, we do. Every weekend in the summer we go boating, so we're on the river or lake every single weekend.
Yep.
We take those all weekends. All summer weekends are.
So you have like a work hard, play hard mentality. Is that fair?
Yeah. Hopefully that's what we're working towards. The kids can see that work ethic, instill it in them. And my boys, they're 14 and 11, and they help me remodel the houses. I mean, they can build walls, and they've taught them how to do electricity, and they did tuck pointing, on cement and so we just finished remodeling our basement and put a big game room, but they had to do a lot of the work. We had to dig. It was an old dirt floor, and we dug out over 500 5-gallon buckets of dirt out of there. We had to shovel it in a bucket. They handed out the window, and then we'd have to dump it in a wheelbarrow and wheel it to the trailer. And they helped me the whole thing.
Your kids are going to be full of muscles like you just from doing that stuff. They don't even have to go to the gym.
Well, we try to keep them appreciative, and they love it. My oldest son, once cold weather started coming around this year, he's like, it feels like it's going to be like house remodel time. Like, we have a house going on. Like, this is what we should be doing this year.
Why do you care so much about it? Like, you've seen it the way that it's manifested in your life, so you want to pass that on to your kids?
Yeah, I want them to be I don't want them to be spoiled brats, I guess, and just think that things are going to roll that way. Like, we are very lucky in that we have money to do things, and my kids get to enjoy that life, but I don't want them to think that's how it's going to be in their whole life. They're not going to grow up and all of a sudden keep having money. Right. They have to realize that there's going to be some work involved to get to that point. Yep.
How do you combat all the various, I'll say, distractions, especially for boys that age, through media and social media, not just social media, but even things like movies and video games and all the things that lead to a sedentary life, even as a teen or a preteen?
Sure. My boys are definitely very big into video games.
Right.
That Fortnite, everybody's playing that, and all their friends are there. We actually, that basement we just got finished remodeling is an entire game room. So there's like 4 monitors where they all game against each other and stuff like that. But we make sure, like, my oldest son would spend his entire life not leaving that computer if he could.
Yeah.
And so we tell him, you need to go out and you need to be out for a sport. You don't have to compete and win, but you have to go out there, practice with other people.
You got to play something.
And be working out, moving your body. And so we're a big wrestling family. And he's never really loved wrestling growing up. Oh, he's like, I don't want to go out for wrestling. And I was like, you're going to have to, you can't just sit here. You need to get a workout in. You might as well be with your friends and interacting with people. And then when you come home, you can work out or be on the video games or something. But we're just constantly reminding them that, what did you get out of sitting there today? Why did that better you? Did you improve yourself? Did you interact with, do you have more friends now? Do you, just kind of reminding them, not forcing them to not be on video games, but like getting them to reflect on what decisions they made and how it got them to be better, or what it brought to their lives.
Do you and Sara, in the whole work hard, play hard mentality, you're on the same page, I assume?
Yeah.
She seems to be, anyway, to me.
True.
Are you guys very intentional about making time for yourselves?
For ourselves, between Sara and I, we don't make as much time. I mean, most of our time is spent with the kids. Yeah. Like that's where we realize that the time is finite there. Right. And
because they're just getting older.
Yep. And that's, that's the entire thing is about the kids. That's why what our lives are about. And so we don't, unfortunately, get as much time to do date nights, but we go on trips to here to PPI, Iowa, and different things like that, where we do have, alone time without the kids, but most of that is then spent with friends. But we're always we work together all day long. I mean, so
you do have a lot of time together.
We have a lot of time together. It's not, but it's not, I think we value the kids. I mean, if we're going to be doing something, we'd much rather have our kids together. So like last year we went to Australia for 3 weeks with the kids.
I watched that happen. That was fun.
She refused to go without them. She was like, I'm not going to leave and be gone from the kids for that long. Right. And I'm totally glad they came because it was an incredible journey.
Yeah. They'll always remember that one.
Yeah.
What up until now is the best thing that's happened to you or that has occurred in your photographic career? Best memory, maybe, or best thing that has happened that you're happiest about or proudest about or most excited about?
I would say the time I was most excited in my photography career would probably be when I my first time I won an actual award. It was the non-masters here at Iowa. I won top non-masters, and both Dan McClanahan and I the year before had set our goals together the year before, and we had completely bombed everything. That we were going to be number 1 and number 2, and I think we were that year.
Is that right?
So it's pretty amazing just to achieve that goal and set that the year before and realize that we were able to accomplish that and where we could go from there. It just kind of made me realize that it is possible to get there, to be part of the, stepping into a photography community where all these amazing photographers and you're learning from them, and obviously wanting to aspire to be like them. And I realized the path was available there. There was a way to get there.
Talk about the McClanahans a little bit. I feel as though you guys have kind of, in the last several years, burst onto the scene together, and here you are from the same state.
Yep.
Although you're not really close geographically, you are from the same state.
Yeah, we're about 2.5 hours apart or so.
Right, and you do some of the same type of work. How has him and Alex and what they've been doing helped you and Sara and what you guys have been doing?
Well, I think it's just kind of a mutual benefit where we kind of bounce ideas occasionally off each other, and like even pricing or something like that, business ideas.
Right.
We just kind of, we're both aspire to have a really nice, like a great business,
right,
and a great family. And I think that we're kind of have end goals in the same spot, and we're both driven. And so it's just kind of pushing each other up the ladder, each one doing something, and the other one,
you're pushing each other.
Yeah.
What do you want to accomplish that you haven't?
My wife asked me that a lot, actually.
She does.
Yes. She said, "What's your next goal? What do you want to do?"
Yeah.
And because goals are very important, it's got me where I am today. But man, I am pretty happy where I'm at. We get to spend a great deal of time with our family.
Mm-hmm.
We get to do the things we like, and so I don't know what my next goal is. I
That's
don't.
not why she keeps asking.
Yeah,
you,
I haven't been
you
able
don't
to
have
come
an
up
answer
one.
yet.
No, she asked me that quite a bit, and I haven't been able to say, because I'm happy where I don't have to go anywhere really. I mean, I get to hang out with friends and do fun things, and so I would just say making sure I'm able to maintain, which is not an easy thing either.
What do you have to do to maintain?
I have to stay relevant in the industry, because I certainly want to still be able to teach and things like that. I have to continually come up with some new ideas, especially just new looks, because when I first got into it, not the athletic Photoshop background type stuff, there wasn't a lot of people doing it.
Right.
And now there's a lot of people doing it.
Yeah, there's a couple others out there.
So I have to continually kind of push myself harder. And a lot of people ask, so why do you teach it then? Like, it obviously just makes it harder to have that unique look. But if I'm going to do something that's, I don't want to keep having the same look for the rest of my life and be stuck in the 90s or whatever. I need to be like, push myself and get out of that comfort zone. And the best way to do that is like,
teach it.
Yeah, teach it. And so others do it. And then I have to force myself to do something else.
Do something new.
Which is, I don't know where that's going to go, but we'll see.
Right. How do people find you? Where do they go?
We have my website is shirkphotography.com. I have my photographer site with a bunch of backgrounds and templates and different things. That's gamechangers.shirkphotography.com. Mm-hmm. And you can find me on Instagram and Facebook just under Shirk Photography.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you doing this.
It was cool.
Keep working hard and playing hard.
Thanks, Jed.